Well, it look like today we are going to be going back in time once again. We are going to be leaving the French and the overseas market and look like we coming to America. And of course, this installment of Assassin's Creed 3.
Alright, here goes.
Well, the story of Assassin's Creed 3 is, of course, like always, split between the Desmond storyline and the Animate storyline. But let's talk about Desmond to start out here. His story continue on from Revelation, as you, of course, have found the temple will whatever will supposed to stop or help humanity from stopping the apocalypse itself. And the storyline of Desmond is mainly his reason for going into anime is to try to figure out where the key to open a door, since everything locked behind it. But when you play as Desmond, you are caught running around in an actual environment doing things at times, surprisingly. But his story is pretty much made up of Colt finding the power cells, I guess you could call, which he needs 3 of them to get power to the door, and then after you do the stuff in anime, you figure out what the key is to open it. But the gameplay for Desmond is more of a cop tease than anything else. You have the level where you running around in a city, quote-unquote city, doing the platforming stuff, and then you have the sections where you are, quote, doing the combat stuff. And throwing some gunplay also in there. But on that side, it's just mainly combat and not really any stealth. Because it mainly you walk in a room, you fight people, you walk in the net room. Because everything in the storyline is very like boxed in. It pretty much you walk in a room, you kill the people, you walk to the net. It doesn't really have any flexibility for what you can do. And if they try to give you a little bit of freedom in some of the level, but at the end of the day, it go to the net room, kill the net people, go to the next. And then the platforming stuff worked fine. It worked the same way as it would in the anime. But the problem is with Desmond's storyline is the two main things, the free running stuff and the fighting stuff, never mesh. They are always separate types of levels. And of course, with not having any real stealth in this, and with all the level being so boxed in, you doesn't have that freedom. So at the end of the day, it just feels kind of pointless with Desmond. It like stop teasing us with what you could do with Desmond and just do it already. And it might be interesting to some, but personally, as a fan of the Desmond stuff, it would just kind of let down cop tease at the end of the day. But where the game really do shine is, of course, in the anime stuff. In the anime, you're going to be playing as a couple of characters. You're going to be jumping between time periods, the same as you did in Assassin's Creed 2 and so on. But the only difference here is the multi-characters you play as. Which I will not go into who or what or well, because it doesn't exactly want to give it away. But the main story here is the second character you play at, which is Colonel, and however you pronounce his Indian name. Pretty much what happens is you realize your village get burnt by the Templars. So you go on it with the story of taking down everybody who is possible. The only thing that really shines in this story, which I give them credit for actually doing that time around, it's actually making you feel you know who the villains are, you know what the motivations are, and the story just make a lot more sense overall. And so in the beginning stuff, actually going more in depth into what the characters are and what the goals are, really help. This is one of the better evil villain rival storyline that have been done in a while. Could you actually want to pretty much kill everyone in this group? But the character as the one you play as, he character a little whiny here, because since you are a Indian ascent or half Indian more so, your character come more across as a naive person, not knowing how anything really works out and just being used by everyone pretty much. But I get that is a point of this, that you are Native American dealing with the British and the rebellion in the revolutionary times. But the game itself and the gameplay side is the most interesting Assassin's Creed that have come yet. It's just so much you can do here. You can go play checkers or other games if you want. You can go out and upgrade a ship and become like a pilot and do pretty much a boat combat level, which actually worked really well, especially with the pretty much the game upon the game of actually upgrading your ship, ordering your people on the boat to do random things, trying to capture boats while sinking them to collect booty and whatnot from them. That worked really, really good. Any in the main story only require you to do it about 3 times. But enough to actually get your feet wet and actually really interesting little side game that time around. And then, of course, the other main thing here is the hunting. With the hunting, it's a very interesting thing. You can, of course, put down bait, set traps, and just hunting in general and finding trails to distant animals. Each time you kill an animal, they will give you a distant item. And with the item, you can end up crafting more things for your house. Might it be items, weapons, recruiting people to your land to actually help you make more and more stuff. But all of it will on a recipe system, but it doesn't exactly explain where you get any of this at. So you might be scratching your head a while just trying to figure out where are the recipes. But as far as the character is concerned, some setbacks have happened here. You can no longer really upgrade your armor. You pretty much stuck with the outfit along with a couple other outfits you can unlock along the way. But nothing really that changing. You can still have your weapons, which you can buy multi-weapons, but at the end of the day, the weapon doesn't really matter. And then the other thing they have changed here is, of course, the combat. Combat not really so much about countering anymore. Think of it more like the Batman games, where a character will have a little marker above their head, you block, and so on. And your major attacks is, of course, trying to knock them off balance, or just brute force attacks. The problem with the combat here is when you get in large numbers of enemies attacking you, it really becomes very frustrating and you would die a lot. Mainly because the combat, since you don't have that countering system, and since they kind of flood you, since multi people will attack you, end up actually making it really hard to counter, and it draws the battles out way longer than they should. But this is only the beginning of the problems that this Assassin's Creed has. This Assassin's Creed is the best Assassin's Creed and the most unstable Assassin's Creed. Because the story is fantastic with it being focused. And the stuff you can do is fantastic. This is the most original Assassin's Creed yet. But the glitches can hold you back majorly. Might it be from charging somebody and when they drop the weapon it floats in the air. Might it be getting stuck in the environment, random enemy that you supposed to be assassinating or hunting or whatever, getting stuck in the environment, treasure you can find, it had faded through the environment you can't get, you will fall in holes that supposed to kill you and you don't die. It's just so many issues with this game. And the glitches is just the most frustrating thing ever. And then the mission structure do not help. Because the main thing that is the most irritating thing overall is the court chasing. And they only technically make you do it twice overall. But the game pretty much ends on a chase sequence. And that ending section did not make any sense. So I bet to be torn around and dying many times. Well, you somehow catch a glimpse on where you're supposed to go. Because of the most clunky level design for an ending level I have played in a while. To the point, I had to go look up how well I gotta go. Because the game just didn't communicate well I needed to go in that ending section. And pretty much blame down the final fight. So, Assassin's Creed have a lot of problems in the single player stuff. But, of course, we have the multiplayer thing also returning once again. Since Brotherhood, Revelation, and now here we are in 3. And what we got that time around is the normal mode where you are given a contract. You gotta kill somebody by somebody else trying to kill you. With everybody having a contract on each other. Then you have the game mode where you having to do objective. Might it be as a team, you have to assassinate that one person or multi people. And you have a set amount of time to get that done. And then the other game mode is a court made up of 2 teams. One team try to eat while the other team hide. And it pretty much take turns switching between. And this seemed the most interesting one of the bunch. We're trying to figure out where to hide, and then the threat that comes from knowing, like, that guy over there looking for me. I hope he don't look in a crowd of people. So, the multiplayer is for the patient. If you are not a very patient person, you might find this extremely irritating and just a very deep learning curve to try to figure out what you gotta do most of the time, since the beginning tutorial for it don't make a lot of sense. They try to explain it to you, but they don't explain it in a way that makes sense, sadly. But overall, Assassin's Creed 3 is a good game and not a fantastic game. It is the better Assassin's Creed, but like I said, it's also the most unstable Assassin's Creed. So, I recommend this if you enjoy Assassin's Creed and you want to see how it quote-unquote ends. Desmond might be a disappointment, but the Revolution stuff is fascinating, and at night running around in the woods. You will spend a lot of time running in the woods. With that, another part real quick would be called the tree traveling, which this is the main draw here, since you spend so much time out in the woods, and you don't exactly have the building to run around, so bet to be on the ground a lot. Because running on buildings do not work well, since how the buildings are constructed. And being in the tree doesn't really work either, because there's only so many trees you can jump into, and a lot of time you're going to be having to go one way, and that way it's away from where you need to be going. So bet to be on the ground a lot in this Assassin's Creed. So, like I said, once again, most unstable, one of the best Assassin's Creed though. Go figure how that worked out. And the multiplayer is just extremely deep and complex. The question is, do you have the patience to actually learn it? So overall, I give Assassin's Creed 3 a 3.5.